All right. Thank you very much. All right. I'm going to call the Newcastle Planning Board meeting of today, October 20th, 2022 to order. We have one application before us for a plan revision for the Dead River Company located on US Route 1, map 4, lot 90B-1 in the Highway Commercial District. They're here to propose increasing the size of a previously approved building from 18 by 24 feet footprint to a one-story building to a 28 by 28 footprint building, a two-story building. So that's what we're doing today. It's plan revision. Do you guys want to come on up?
Fred Woodbury. I work for Dead River Company, so.
Sorry, I only gave you one chair. We can pull
Okay,
another
that's
one
all
up.
right.
I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't intentional.
No, go ahead, Pat.
So why don't you give us the rundown on the change?
I think
to
you
the-
just summarized it.
Okay, great. I mean, yeah, go for it. I mean, is there
there's-
anything
there's really not
additional?
much else. Where it just once they started planning what they were gonna do for the building, they ran out of space on the floor plan and wanted to boost it up a little bit. And so that's what we did. We've pretty much just slightly moved it away from the edge that faced the driveway and the tank. So it just comes a little bit closer to Route 1 at that point. And on that, you've probably seen progress of the site. Site work is coming along. Found a ridge of ledge right where we didn't want it to be. And yeah, exactly. So they did some clearing of that ledge, and we're gonna put down some base material for the road, and then button things up for the winter. Come back and finish the road, pavement, install the propane tanks, and finish off that building then spring and have it operational as soon as I can.
Yeah, hopefully next summer.
Great. So I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind, if we just dive right in. Could you just give us a quick, summary of what was the need for the change? And then I have some specific questions about the building itself. So originally it was a one-story, now it's a two-story. Why, what's the thought process? Why do we need to go there?
The thought process was to utilize all of the space. So we had, the roof has a 12-12 pitch, so we figured we could add a dormer and have a meeting room for our drivers.
Right.
So, have a place to meet with them, and downstairs is kind of cramped. And once you add a bathroom and a small kitchen area for them, and so figured why not?
Great. So that was going to be my next question was, when you originally submitted your first application, of course, a septic plan and all the plumbing permit and everything was pulled. Are you adding any additional bathrooms or facilities of any kind?
We are not, nothing is changing.
Okay. And it's still remaining, both stories is going to be strictly office use. There's no plans to turn that top story into any kind of residential dwelling unit or anything like that.
That's correct. No.
It's not going to be slept in for drivers overnight, or
No.
there aren't going to be facilities in that nature. Okay. So just
The one bathroom meets the requirement for number of people that would be occupying the building at any one time. whatever
It
the-
does. I mean, most of the time there may be there wouldn't be any more than maybe 3 to 4 people there anyway for the drivers that would,
No, that's well, but
yeah, so.
okay. Great. Well, let's just quickly turn to the code and just do a quick review real quick here of the keep saying quick. As long as we're not proposing any additional uses, the district is the Highway Commercial District on page 28 of the Core Zoning Code. And really all we're doing is looking at the building footprint. We'd previously discussed the primary building placement in terms of setbacks. Thank you very much for that, by the way. Yes, awesome. Awesome.
Site
Yeah.
plan as well.
Right, yeah, so we'd previously already discussed the driveway and the location of the tanks, parking lot, all the other features and for a plan review, I just need to remind everyone that really all we can discuss or review are the changes to the previously approved plan. So we're not going to go into anything that we've already talked about. We're strictly talking about the changes to the building that you're proposing. That's literally the only thing you're changing.
Correct.
Correct.
So primary building placement, front setback is 0, side, rear don't over 5 feet, frontage zone setback 20 feet. You're well there within that. We talked about that previously. And as you said, that's a minor change anyway. It's not going to encroach, so not a problem. We are still talking about under permitted building types on the bottom of page 28, single unit commercial building, which has an allowable size of 120 feet by whatever, up to 60,000 square feet, and 3 stories tall. So we are under the number of stories. We're well under the amount of size. We're well under the total square footage allowance. And the number of units for a single unit commercial building is 1. That's why I was asking you if you were planning to put another unit in. So it's a contiguous unit upstairs and downstairs. We're still at 1 unit. That meets all the criteria there. To be honest with you, that's about it. Because
I'm surprised it took that long.
yeah, I know, right? Yeah. The one thing I do want to say, and I this is a slight chiding or scolding. I know that the procedure of this happened sort of unfolded. Maybe you decided to make a change and poured the foundation and then realized maybe George talked to you and said, oh, we really need to do a plan revision. Generally, we'd prefer to not have to have the code enforcement officer keeping eyeballs on projects like that. So if there are changes in the future, and this is just a general reminder, not just to you, but to any applicant, once a plan is approved, that is the plan. And we need to stick to it unless you submit a plan approval. And you made your intentions known well right after being notified of the change. So thank you very much for doing that.
Well, I'd also like to note that, I applied for a building permit, the change. I sent the size of the building to George back in July, and he issued a building permit. And then we were months out from where it's considered a commercial building, that a licensed architect had to design it. Then when the plans came, I sent them to George just so the town would have them and be transparent. And then George emailed me and said, you gotta, don't do anything else. You gotta stop. The planning board has to approve the change.
So a
Yeah,
little bit
so-
of confusion about the
Yeah,
process. Yeah. Okay.
So
I
it
got you.
was not intentional.
Great. That's wonderful to hear. I think we'll do a little bit of work to make sure that our process is a little bit more clear about things like that in the future. And I appreciate that. When plans have to come to the planning board, regardless of scope of the project, and they're reviewed and approved, that sort of puts a point in time. And so even though you might have had those plans, this is just one of those procedural things. Even though George may have had those plans, those really didn't matter because of the prior planning board approval for the 18 by 24. That's what was sort of the rule.
Understood.
So thank you. Appreciate it. Sorry we all got our wires crossed, but this was an easy one. So
Well, now there's another person in the mix, so hope, nail down that process a little
Exactly.
bit. And
Exactly.
just speaking from experience, having worked with Isabel both in South Portland and Saco, you've got a very good person in that position.
Wonderful.
Good to hear.
Thank
I
you.
didn't pay him to say that.
Well, all right. I think we're all set, and thank you, gentlemen, very much for all your work. Oh, I don't want to. Sorry, before I close the public hearing. Yeah, do we have any public comments, Merle?
So I can repeat it. So he said he reviewed the report in the town office and didn't see the fire marshal's report. So there are 2 state oversights for this project. One is the state fire marshal reviews commercial buildings, and that they've already issued their permit. So if we did not provide a copy to the town, we'll forward that to Isabel and George for the file. So that was approved. There's also a Maine Fuel Board is in charge of bulk propane tanks. And we've submitted the application. They've done their, they were out at the site last week and did their initial review. Everything looks good from their perspective. Normally, they would have issued the license by now, but because we're not installing it until the spring, they're gonna kind of come back during construction and take a look at it now. The,
I'm sorry. This is a plan revision and I hate to cut you down on this, but I understand that, but what I said before is that this is a public hearing about a plan revision and we have to limit the conversation to what is being proposed for a revision. All of the conversation about the tanks and the permitting, all of that was discussed previously at a prior public hearing, and we are not allowed to actually talk about that because it's already been approved.
but we can offer that regardless of whether there are new tanks or used tanks, the main fuel board inspectors, it's the same standard and you have to meet the standard. So.
Okay, all right. Are there any other public comments? Anyone else? Anything? Okay. Isabel, do you have anything to add? Great. At this time, I think we'll close the public hearing and say thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you.
And do you need to do?
So what
Oh,
we're
you're
just
just
do
gonna-
is,
Never mind.
yeah, we'll vote to approve it and then you'll get a something from the code enforcement officer.
Sure.
Yep. That makes sense?
Great. Stick around.
Okay, well, here we go. It's gonna be a big one. Do we have a motion to approve? Moved, we have seconds, moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Passes 3-0. All right, thank you.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you.
All righty,
Good luck with the rest of your agenda tonight.
thank you very much. Very small agenda. So, oh, I gotta go back to my agenda here. So, next thing on the agenda is item number 3, public comments. Do we have any public comments? Merle, do you have something you want to talk about? Anything? No, this is general public comments. Oh, I'm sorry, Merle. Could I have you sit at the table with a microphone? Thanks. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time, by the way.
No, thank you.
You want me to talk about the tank issue or you want to wait?
You can talk about whatever you'd like to. I don't know that I
Okay,
can
the
answer
tank
it,
issue
but-
goes back to Raul Nelson's when we certified his site.
Yep.
And we could not really we had trouble getting the tanks certified because they were used.
Mm,
And the fire marshal came down and he said he had questions about it.
Yep.
And then we hired an engineer to go in and look at it.
Right.
And the engineer said, well, they should be good.
oh, they should be good. That was
And
his official report.
so we never, we never
Oh,
got, we
geez.
never got a good answer as to whether the tanks were safe.
Okay, okay, all right.
And it wasn't that they were gonna blow up. We were just concerned about them leaking.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
were oil
right.
tanks.
Yo,
Well, they don't have to have containment for the propane, I guess, because I don't see it.
it's a different, and they do also have
Oh,
a,
it flows out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it goes.
Yeah, it goes up.
Right. and they have a containment pond on the map on the downward side of the,
Well, I thought that was an erosion water.
to be honest, I don't
looked
remember
at
the
it. Yeah,
specifics.
okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's talk about the code. Are you planning on any revisions to the code?
Yes, eventually, there's,
Yeah.
we don't
I've
have
got a burning issue.
a burning issue. All right, let's hear it.
I want to harvest some timber and I don't think I should have to go to the planning board to get a permit to harvest my timber.
Um,
And I'd like to see that changed. We can offer it up.
so I would say your best path forward at the moment is to come in and talk to our new town planner about the specifics of your site and where it's located and the details of the project that you want to do and whether or not it meets the actual code. If it doesn't, then, you know, the conversation can move from there to whatever Isabel decides it needs to go.
Well, you're aware there's 34 different items, codes that affect timber harvesting in the state of Maine.
I did not know that there were that many. No,
pretty
but I'm
tight.
not surprised.
It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
But it's different for large landowners versus small ones. If you own less than 100 acres, you're allowed to initiate a clear cut.
Yeah.
Without a special review and special plan. Anything over that, you have to have a special hearing.
I did know that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
But I would like to see that change. The reason is that I don't think there's anybody here in the town that's really qualified to tell me if I'm harvesting my timber correctly. You'd have to hire somebody. And that's bringing in another problem. I'm a licensed professional forester. I've been managing my land for 40 years now there. And it's nice timber and it's time to do some work on it.
Yeah.
Some more work.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I want to see it changed.
Gotcha.
It's not a selfish reason. There's a lot of other people in town that are in the tree growth program.
Yep.
That will have the same issue.
So
Are they also licensed timber? Licensed arborists or whatever? You
The
say you were
people- I'm a licensed professional forester.
forester? Okay.
I think,
Are those other folks also?
No, they're private landowners.
I think if you're in tree growth,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong, you need to have a forester
You have to have a
to
plan.
do a
Yeah.
tree growth plan.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're in tree growth, and you're supposed to manage it according to the
Plan.
more or less, according to.
And that's
it's a guide.
That's a state.
It's a state law.
regulated, Yeah.
Yeah, state law.
So yeah, I mean, I don't want to shoot from the hip here, and I don't want to like presume to do any kind of review of the code or anything like that. I think that your best path really is to talk to the town planner and get it on a future agenda and really flush out the scope of what it is you're looking to do, and specifically what restriction you feel is onerous. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think it's right that I have to pay $100, put in a permit, cut my own timber. To apply for a permit. I shouldn't have to do that.
Okay, again, I don't know the specifics of.
Well, you know that the permit, to put a permit in, the request for a review is $100, correct?
I don't know your specific project, so I can't tell you exactly what the fee would be.
No, we're talking just ask for a review, not what it's gonna cost for the planning board. I went to the town office and I asked, and they gave me a form, and it says it's gonna cost me $100 to circulate this form amongst the code enforcement officer in the planning board if necessary. Okay, and that's not saying that we've even had a hearing.
Okay.
I think what he's referring to is the pre-application fee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
Mhm.
And you don't have to pay any fee to come and chat with George and I about it. about
Right,
The
but-
path forward. I understand.
You know, I shouldn't have to pay a pre-application. We shouldn't in this town.
Okay.
It's just,
Okay.
all right,
Do you have anything else?
I don't know. How about you guys? You doing all right?
Doing great. Yeah.
Who else is on the board?
Kevin Houghton.
Hilton?
Houghton, I think it's Houghton, right? Houghton.
Finding enough people?
We are always looking for volunteers, but at the moment, the planning board is set. And actually, I think the appeals board is also set.
Last I looked, the field board needed one more.
I think they just got it.
You know who it was?
Off the top of my head, no. But I know there was a recent appointment.
Me. I'm back on.
No, there was another appointment
Yeah.
last
For that.
Board of Selectmen meeting, I think. Yep.
All righty, gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming,
Bill.
Merle.
Yeah, have a good one.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, so let me flip back to the agenda here, and I think we're gonna go into a workshop. Jeff, if that's okay, I think we'll shut down the feed and say thank you and good night to everybody, and we're gonna move into a little work session amongst the planning board members and introduce, before you shut down, I would like to publicly, and I should have done this first, I am so sorry, introduce our new town planner, Isabel Exley. Exley, did I say that right?
Yep.
Exley, who is the town planner in Newcastle. She's also the town planner in Damascotta. We share her time. She's here in the town office on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And if you have questions, if anyone is watching this, she is a great resource. Please come to her, and she's there to talk to and get the ball rolling and help you with your projects. So, do you have anything you want to add or say?
Other than I'm excited to be here, and excited to be working with you all, with your new code. Well, new to me,
Yeah.
not as new to you,
Right.
your old code.
Year old. It's still new. It's still new. Great. All right. Well, thank you. And I think we'll end it there.